The violence on the hill of Golgotha had finally ended. As dusk settled, Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus faced a massive physical reality. They had to extract and transport the dead weight of a condemned man before nightfall. The process of removing someone from a Roman cross was visceral. Working on wooden ladders, the two men had to slowly pry heavy iron nails out of the timber, eventually taking the cold, limp body of Jesus into their own arms. This diagram illustrates the sheer volume of the materials prepared for the body. Nicodemus brought 75 pounds of myrrh and aloes to the site. That is an enormous amount of botanical material, far exceeding the typical requirements for a standard burial of the era. The body was carried into a lush, private garden and laid inside a pristine, unused tomb carved directly into a solid limestone facade. The space offered a quiet, isolated threshold for the dead. Every act in this garden, the washing, the wrapping, and the 75 pounds of spices, followed the standard ritual requirements for a body intended to remain in the earth. They were ensuring the burial was permanent. The closure of the grave was absolute. They pushed a heavy, circular stone through its track to perfectly block the entrance. Then Rome intervened. A soldier pressed an imperial wax seal over a cord across the stone, turning the grave into protected Roman property. To enforce that seal, they stationed a detachment of 4 armed guards around the perimeter. The legal barrier was backed by the active military deterrent of the world's most powerful empire. Meanwhile, miles away in the city, the disciples were huddled in locked rooms. They spoke in defeated whispers, mourning a man they fully believed was gone. Between the heavy limestone, the imperial seal, and the armed sentries, an unbreakable physical lock had been forged. The great silence had begun. By the second night, the interior of the vault was completely still. The temperature plummeted in the dark, and thick condensation began to form along the cold limestone walls. This wireframe analysis highlights the physical impossibility of escaping this space. Even if someone were alive inside, the sheer tonnage of the stone slab, combined with 0 points of leverage on the interior walls, meant no human could move it from the inside. But at 4 a.m. on Sunday, the atmosphere inside the vault shifted. Out of the pitch black, a faint, microscopic spark of light appeared in the center of the room. The laws of entropy began running in reverse. Biological decay halted instantly, replaced by energy rapidly pulsing through the microscopic fibers of the burial linens. All of that accelerating molecular energy culminated in a single, sudden physical event. A deep heartbeat echoed against the stone walls. The undisturbed state of the linens indicates the body transitioned directly through the burial fabric and the limestone walls, while the tomb remained sealed. This event bypassed the physical constraints of the rock entirely. Suddenly, the sealed entrance was shattered. With a thunderous roar of grinding rock and a blinding flash of light, the massive circular stone was violently thrown back from the doorway. The stone moved to provide a sight line to the evidence. It allowed the witnesses to verify that the slab was empty and the burial was over. As dawn broke, Mary Magdalene and the other women arrived with their spice jars, fully expecting to finish anointing a corpse. Instead, they found the guards paralyzed by fear and the slab completely empty. The only things remaining on that cold stone were the burial wrappings. Off to the side, the face cloth had been meticulously folded into a neat square. In a place designed for death, it was a deliberate, quiet message of calm and absolute order. Every barrier had failed. The Roman seal was shattered, the physical rock was pushed aside, and the empire's armed keepers of death were lying on the ground like dead men themselves. The vacancy of that stone room was the ultimate victory. The king had moved entirely beyond the finality of human death.